care to do the introductions this week, or should I?
I can do it. I hope I don't fuck it up, though.
Please don't.
I'm the one with the ADD, remember? All right, let's get the show on the road.
Okay, so 3, 2, 1. Hey, folks, welcome to Bouncing Brains. I'm Sean Hatfield.
And I'm Freddy G. And tonight we have a special guest in the building, Miss Bridgette Trevino.
Hola.
How are you doing, ma'am?
I'm doing spectacular.
This is the most I've ever talked to you.
This is true.
It almost feels weird.
It feels very weird.
It does. I talk to Sean all the time, but it's not the same. It's like when you talk to a man, it makes you feel like unattracted.
What?
But then it's differently when you talk to a woman. It's like, hey, it's more interesting.
I told you we have buyer's remorse with this show, right?
We can cut that out if it doesn't work out.
Oh, no, that's going on the clip track, my friend. We're selling that ringtone on fucking Google. And,
Yep. $2 a pop.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's jump right into it. Specifically, I mean, of course, you're a cool person. By all means, we'd love to sit down and talk with you for 3 hours about whatever you'd care to talk about. Well, we did bring you in here because you've got some workshops coming up for special effects. Is that the?
I do. I have two special effects workshops coming up. One on the 12th and the other on the 18th, I believe, at South Padre Island.
Right on.
The one at South Padre Island is on the 18th?
Yeah.
Okay. Shit, we're in October. Why do I keep thinking September? Okay, October 18th?
Yeah,
cool.
and then the one that's on the 12th is going to be at Yerberia Cultura. And there's going to be 2 workshops that day.
Cool. What times, you know?
One's going to be at 8 and the other one's going to be at 10.
8 p.m.?
8 p.m.
And then at 10.
10 p.m.
And then do you also have one at El Rey?
Not anytime soon.
Oh, I'm asking that because we were talking a little bit about it off air. That I thought Shooter posted something.
Okay.
Hi, Shooter. Shooter posted something, and since I thought, you know how he posts everything for LA, I thought that it was gonna be at LA when I saw that he posted the event or whatever. So that's why I was asking.
Oh no, I think he was just sharing it.
Okay. And for the people that don't know, including myself, because I be honest with you, I don't know a lot about this, but this workshop, to somebody that's completely ignorant like myself, and you had to explain it, what is it exactly that you'll be doing, and what is it for?
Okay, so what it is that I'll be doing is just instructing a workshop on special effects makeup, showing them exactly like how to do like a bruise or like a cut or a scrape. So I'd be like literally showing them step by step how to do that, providing actual materials for them to use as I'm teaching them. So it's like completely hands-on, something different compared to all the workshops that I've actually been here for special effects makeup. So I'm mainly doing it because no one else has done that before. Okay. So I want people to actually have hands-on experience versus them just watching someone and then them going through the whole lesson and them not really absorbing anything.
Gotcha.
So I feel like if they're actually using their hands and like watching me and as they're doing it as well, that they'll get more, I guess, knowledge.
Hands-on experience.
Yeah.
And I completely understand that because the way I learn, and this is ever since I was a kid, I could sit in a class and you can lecture me till you're blue in the face. Mm-hmm. But if I don't do it, like if I don't do exactly with my hands,
so you're
what
like
you're
a visual
teaching,
learner.
Yeah, I'm visual and I'm hands-on. Yeah, like I have to do it. If I don't do that part, if you lectured me for 4 hours, I didn't learn jack shit. Yeah. So yeah, that's actually really good. Now, as far as this putting. How did this come about? Like, how did you put it together? Like, where did the idea come from? I'm pretty sure it's something you love to do. Mm-hmm. But aside from it being something you love to do, like, how were you like, hey, I'm gonna put this workshop together?
Well, from the obvious, I like doing this. I've been doing it for 3 years, and I had done a workshop before, and I feel like the people there, they were watching me, but I felt like they were lost. So I wanted, like again, I was saying, like, I just want to create something where they can actually, like, absorb that. I don't know.
Gotcha. No, I know what you're saying.
Now, the previous workshop, that was without the
actual kits for them to use.
That's what I kind of thought you were saying with it.
Yeah, sorry.
Have you been to? Have you been present at other people's workshops? Have you gone to a few?
I've gone to 2 other people's workshops that were at some film festival. I can't really remember which one it was, but they like speed through it really fast, and I didn't like that myself because like I'm teaching myself everything completely. Right. So when I'm seeing someone that actually knows what they're doing and they're just speeding through it, it makes me feel like
you're not doing it right.
Like you're not doing it right. Yeah. And I wanted to make it in October, you know, for the theme. Obviously, it's gore, it's horror. Like I want people to I don't know, just learn how to do it the right way.
Yeah. Now, is this something that you say you've been doing it for 3 years? So it's something that you see yourself doing it as a career? Is it just a hobby? Is it both? I'm pretty sure it's both if it's a career, but is this what you want to do is basically what I'm asking.
Yeah, essentially. I do want to start, like, I want to go into, like, movies and, like...
Gotcha. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Now I see your broader spectrum. Mm-hmm. Now, like I said, I don't know much about this, so do you know much? I'm pretty sure you do, but what is the market like? Like, and I'm guessing, because I know, like, once you get into movies and all of that, I know it's huge. But for somebody starting, like somebody 3, 4, 5 years in, like, what is the likelihood, I guess, of actually how hard would you have to actually work and dedicate to actually get to that level? Like, what's the market like?
That's a really good question because right now, for people that are self-taught, that are teaching themselves, the market for them is like, it varies. I've seen like literally like 13-year-olds like have like skills of like someone that's like been doing this for like 20 years, and they'll get like sponsorships and all this for themselves, but I don't ever really see them get any farther than that. Like I don't see them ever work on movies. I just see them just working on just singular basic stuff all the time. And then I've seen people that have been doing it for a long time and they work on movies and stuff, but I forgot where I'm going with this.
It happens. It
varies a bit.
It varies. It really does. But you have to have experience in order to have like to be, you know, commissioned for a movie. I've had like independent films commission me, and even my rates for them are too much. And that's because I'm like completely lowballing.
Well, you're not going to just blow past that like you didn't say that. You said you have independent films commission you?
Yes.
Right now?
Yes.
Oh, shit. So then like you're there, like it,
kind of.
Because the way you said it earlier, it kind of made me feel like you really were just getting off the ground and getting your feet wet.
In a way, I still am, even though I've already been doing this for 3 years. Like, I still am trying to get my foot out there.
But I mean, for independent films to, like, commission you, I think that's kind of I don't know. And you're making me feel like you're kind of underselling your skill.
Maybe I am.
Yeah, I think you are.
Let me ask you this. It was about a year and a half back where you got a bunch of attention online because of some work that you had put out there. Yeah. Did that add any to the independent filmmakers coming?
It actually did, because of like the first ever post that I decided to post on Facebook, because I would always post my special effects makeup on Instagram and I would like get a few likes here and there, but I never got a lot of attention. But I did a trypopia effect on the hand.
What does that mean?
It's like a like
hole?
Holes, like a bunch of little holes.
Gotcha.
And that, like, spread like wildfire. Like, I was not expecting that at all. So when that happened, I got a bunch of messages from a bunch of different people, like, wanting to do different things with my makeup. But a lot of them don't really, like, commit to their requests. So, like, let's say someone, like, oh, I need you to do this on this many actors, like, this type of style. And then when the day actually came up, they were like, nowhere. Like, they would just, like, leave.
But did you get paid?
I would never get paid. So lately what I've been doing, I'm like, I need the money up front. Yeah. And then because of that, they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But it's right now here, I guess, in the Valley, there's not really much opportunities. I think I would have to go somewhere else to,
now,
like, grow.
I'm kind of like, though this is kind of in the dark for me, but have you taken a shot like at a Comic-Con?
Sorry,
what? Comic-Con.
Oh, I have tried having like a special effects booth because I've seen that before where they'll like do like The Walking Dead, or like photo ops and stuff.
Like I told you that I saw somebody doing like the makeup live. That there was the first time I'd ever seen somebody. When I told you off camera that I saw some, that's what I saw at a convention in San Antonio. And I actually ended up there by accident. I was there to watch the car show, and the car show was outside. But then I saw that everybody was going in the building, and in the building they had separate booths. I'm not gonna lie, like 85% of them were for tattoo artists. Yeah. But then I ran into that lady that was doing the makeup, and then my dumb ass thought, I was like, holy shit, is that tattoos too? But I was like, so that's permanent? Why would somebody want to do it? She was like, no, it's makeup, man. And it was the first time I had ever heard of like special effects makeup, and I was like, that's how they do it in the movie.
Like, that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So, like, with the experience that you have now, within the 3 years that you've been doing it, would you be able to pull off Freddy Krueger mask on pure makeup?
Just pure makeup? Yeah. Like,
is
just like
possible?
Body paint? Yeah, that's totally possible. I could do that.
You love the confidence. That's cool. So again, I think your skills are up there. Like, if you can do that shit already. Now, let me ask you another thing, because I'm curious. As far as like the independent movie approach and for them to commission you, like, how, if you don't mind sharing, how does that work? Like, how do you go about saying, hey, like, I do this, can I work with you? Like, how is that approach?
Usually, like, I don't approach anybody and be like, hey, like, I want to work on your film, because I don't really know much people. I like barely started getting into like groups that are like with filmmaking and like directors and stuff, so to try and like get my name out there with them. And so, like, I'll post occasionally like work that I'll do on those pages, and then I'll have like people reach out to me, or someone will recommend me to someone that actually is like making something, and then from there, like, I'll talk to them and we'll figure out what to do. God. But I don't normally reach out to anybody.
You said Cinesoul is involved with the workshops you're putting on, right?
Cinesoul is involved with one of them, the one that's at South Padre Island.
Okay. How did that come about?
Cinesoul occasionally hosts their film festival at Cine El Rey, and when I was barely beginning to start off, they were there. Like, they're the people that are in charge of that are my friends as well. Right. So I kind of like, I don't know, got my way or leg in there through that.
Can I get you to look at something real quick?
Yeah. Okay. And they liked what I did, and Shooter and Bert recommended me, like, hey, like, she does makeup. Like, it'd be cool if you guys got together. And then so we talked a little bit, and then they're like, we want you to start doing workshops for us. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'm totally down for that. It was like first ever time I'd ever thought of teaching anybody, to be honest. That was never like. So
it was more of like your work got the word of mouth. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like what happened with me with comedy there. I mean, I've been doing it for a minute, but down here when I came back, That's what happened with me at El Rey. I did, and actually, I did an open mic somewhere else at PJ Pie's in McAllen. Christian was doing the Lonely Pizza performance there, and he was like, hey, and he saw my set, and he was like, dude, that was fucking funny. Like, do you perform anywhere else? And I was like, dude, I've been looking for somewhere else to perform, you know. Mm-hmm. And he was like, you should talk to my brother. Mm-hmm. Mario, and I didn't know Mario at the time. He was like, Mario does the booking for Cine El Rey, and I had already performed at El Rey at an open mic, and when before that, so when I performed there, Rudy saw me perform, and I didn't really know Rudy at the time either, and Rudy was like, hey man, your set's fucking funny, like it's good, and then and like that was that. So I came back, I performed at another open mic there at El Rey, and then that's when Rudy didn't tell me anything. Rudy kind of behind the curtain referred me to Mario, and then on another Tuesday, Rudy just sent me a text message because we exchanged information, and he was like, all he put was like, hey brother, blessings coming your way. And me being like, bro, I was like, what the fuck do you mean? He didn't answer. The next day, Mario texted me, and he was like, hey man, Rudy and Christian's my brother. They tell me that you do comedy and that you're pretty funny. So I was wondering if you wanted to do a Wednesday show. I didn't even know what the fuck that was, but I was like, yeah, why not? So that's how I ended up.
I can feel you on that. That's usually like the same way that.
And that's exactly why I was bringing it up. I wasn't trying to put the light on me or anything, but no, because of what you were saying, and just I feel because before when I was younger, I used to do music, and I'm saying this so for the people watching and everything that are trying to do something artistic. What I feel you should never do is don't come off like desperate, like don't come off like I do this, like look, like show me. Because that's fucking annoying, and they'll never pay attention to you.
No.
And I made that mistake when I used to do music when I started, but I was young. I was like 16, 17 years old. I would record music, and I remember that I used to go out to the clubs and everything, and I couldn't wait to like throw my mixtape in there and be like, or somehow throw it in the conversation. Now that I think about it, I was like, fuck, that must have been annoying, you know? So, and now I learned when I transitioned into comedy, I learned, I just learned, man. I learned that if I'm good enough and if I'm patient, if I'm good, somebody's going to listen. Mm-hmm. Same thing with you. I mean,
I never really expected it to get as much attention as it did. I honestly didn't think anything like this would happen, but I think a lot of it has to do with the people I know. Like I wouldn't have gotten this far without them. Like that's for sure. Like a lot of my friends and a lot of people that I've met because of working at a bar see what I do and they support it, and it's crazy how much they support it. It like still blows me away.
Yeah.
And it only encourages me to keep wanting to do it more.
Yeah, exactly.
What was the initial interest in the special effects?
It was like super, super random, just like most of my hobbies are. But I had Shooter actually ask me if I wanted to do this like gouged out eye effect, because it was like they was showing like The Walking Dead at one point, and he wanted to look like Carl when like his eye got fucked up by that bad guy.
I just came across that picture of him in that earlier today.
Yeah, okay. But he asked me to do that, and I had no fucking clue. But he's like, hey, you're an artist. Like, you can do it, right? And I'm like, I guess I can try. It'll be fun. Something new, whatever. Yeah. So I started, like, looking up stuff, like, how to do it. And I found, like, the most basic thing. I was like, I can do that. So I, like, went to Spirit Halloween, because at this time, it was, like, October. And they had a bunch of crap. And so I just bought a lot of like fake skin and like blood and like a sock, because that's what it said how to do it. But anyway, I just went at it and just put it on, just hope for the best. And like at first it failed. We failed miserably. It did not come out right at all. We had to like take it all off, and then we had to go to the store and buy like cardboard and more like latex and stuff to make it stick. 'Cause it was just falling off. It was like terrible. But eventually I got it to stick on, and we got it on, and it began to like form really good. And I was like, hey, I'm actually like really digging this. Like, and then she was like, this is really good. You should do this for a living. And I was just like, ping, like maybe I should. Like, and then after that, I just started like messing around with a little bit of materials that I got. And then I was like, this is actually kind of fun. So just started looking at more and more like effects and like different things you could do and like different materials. And then that just started getting me excited. And I was just like, I want to know everything. So from there, I just started teaching myself.
That's cool. And it's crazy that you say that the first reason as to why you did it is because you love it. Like that's what you love to do, and I'm pretty sure it was your hobby first, and then like you said, hey, the light bulb went off, and I was like, I can actually
honestly like way before even special effects. Like I wasn't someone that was like really into makeup at all. Like I would just like put on eyeliner, but ever since then, and like teaching myself, like I was like found a new like love for makeup, and it's like own, and so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So like trying to get the interest in trying to get the skin shades and the texture,
like shading and like all that stuff intrigues me.
I tried to sit down and watch a video on how to do a fake bruise one time, and I just threw up my hands and went, "Fuck this! I'd rather just hit myself in the face."
It's pretty easy. I'll teach you if you want.
Right on. I think the main thing was I was trying to use like a blot-on type of thing, staring in a mirror, and this guy was using. It's like, oh, it's cool. You just take the little airbrush and see right there. And fuck you.
That's like super advanced. It's like super easy.
It's fun to watch though. Some of those, you see some of those people do the. I've always been fascinated with by body painting. I apprenticed for a guy who did. He wouldn't do like the I guess like the clothes type of stuff, but he would do like
he would like paint it on.
Yeah, like a back tattoo for this, a summer, down at the beach. You want to get one of those, that's and you can walk around with it. But and I mean that's pretty basic. You're just using the back as a canvas. But
was he doing everything by hand, or was he like using like machine?
He had an airbrush, and then he was going in and doing the touch up with a small brush. Right. It wasn't the best stuff in the world. Like I have this memory of having like the X-Men on my back at one point. I'm pretty sure it looked like, it's like
just the word or like the whole. Like,
no, it was like the X-Men, like all of the X-Men.
How?
He just, and then did the details. Right, I mean, that's one of those things, right? Like once you do something enough times, you kind of just go like, oh, I know what that shape is. I can do that. But yeah, the texture work, the shading work. I mean, I'll not lie. I probably watch it for multiple reasons, but I've seen the behind the scenes stuff that Sports Illustrated puts out for their the editions that they do, and I mean, it starts off and it just looks like they just smeared paint on somebody, but then they start going in and adding the little the texture of whatever fabric they're using or the shading, and it's damn impressive. I mean, especially when you can get to that effect where when the they turn just right and the light lines up and you go, holy shit, that looks real. Mm-hmm. You got anything yet where you're just like I want to know how to do this, that thing.
I want to learn how to make like prosthetics. Like that's like, whoa, but like
right on.
Like I want to learn how to like cast a whole body.
Right on.
That would be fucking awesome to do.
That would. I was gonna ask you, as far as the makeup goes, because again, I've seen horror movies and stuff like that, and I know it's effects and shit like that. But do you know? And even if you don't know how to do it, but do you know like the kind of work that goes into like I know you do cuts and wounds and stuff, but like how do you keep the
like the real aspect of it? Like
no the blood gushing out. that is continual.
Oh, like if you're asking me if I don't know how to do it, but do I know how to? It still works.
No, well, yeah. Or do you know how to do that?
I do.
Oh, okay. So then, how do you? How does?
How would that be?
Yeah.
It's literally just rigs and like a air compressor and tubes. Really.
On somebody's face?
I mean, well, like you're asking. Okay, let's just say like someone like hit someone with an axe in the face, and you want to know how like the blood gushes out.
Yeah, exactly.
So basically, what they would do is just like make a live cast out of your face, like make a complete replica of it. Make it, I don't know. They literally make prosthetics out of literally anything. They can do it out of like silicone. They can make it out of latex. A whole bunch of shit. It doesn't matter. But they're gonna make a live cast of your face, like literally apply it to your face. But except they're gonna have the like tubes that are gonna be gushing out, like rigged to a point where you can't see them. They'll be like behind you or just away from the camera. And so as soon as like the axe goes down on your head, they'll have like a whole bunch of different people doing a whole bunch of different shit to make sure that it comes out the right way. And so as soon as they like hit your head, they'll fucking turn up the air compressor and boom, the blood will like squirt out. But basically they'll have tubes hooked up to the compressor, and then in those tubes there'll be like a little pocket of blood like just ready to like explode.
Holy shit. They say we learn something new every day. I don't learn.
That's one way that I know how to do it. I know that there's probably other ways that they do it, but I'm not too sure.
No, I'm not gonna lie. I'm amazed. I would have never thought the whole fucking thing about the tubes and the compressor.
It's the same thing with like any part of your body. They'll just literally cast it in.
And that they even put the prosthetics and wow.
It's a lot of work. Like I've seen like people take like 12, 20 hours just to like get one thing down.
And that's why there's money in it.
Yeah, special effects artists make a lot of money. Like a lot of money.
So you're in the right field.
I hope I am. I had someone the other day that was like really negative, and they were like, why are you going to special effects makeup? Like, don't you know CGI is in? We can just easily do it like that. And I'm just like, but like that takes out the whole real aspect of it. Exactly. Like that doesn't make it feel like real or as scary.
It's like the constant battle, literally battle that you have. And I was actually just talking about this today with one of my friends. It's the constant battle that 80s and 90s DJs have with millennial DJs. You know, that DJs get pissed off because they think that just because you have a laptop and a fucking digital mixer, that doesn't make you a DJ. You know, they like for you to, you know, be crate digging and flipping the records and scratching and shit. And I agree. I mean, I've never been a DJ or anything like that, but to me, a real DJ is also the one that has the crates going and everything. All this computerized shit, you're just a dude pushing buttons. That's all you're doing. And I actually had this conversation with one of my friends that's a DJ. He's one of the last ones left that actually has crates of like music and shit. So it's the same thing. Like you're saying, doing the actual work and everything. You know, if you don't do that, it takes the realism out of it. So yeah, I agree with that. Completely agree. And as far as it applies to the comedy, it's like when you're a comic but you have ghostwriters. That's a conversation that we.
Yeah, except you don't usually start off with ghostwriters. Real easy to pick up a laptop and a audio program, but not quite so easy to pick up ghostwriters.
Yeah, true.
Which is why you go with the steadfast option of stealing a bunch of really old jokes and rewriting the premise.
You want to put that out there like this?
I've never done it, but I've seen it done successfully. Hey, man, fake it till you make it.
I don't know about all that.
I'm not saying you don't stop faking at some point. I'm just saying, you know, first couple times through, I'd rather just nod and act like you know what you're doing.
I'd rather fall on my face flat 1,000 times and say that I learned that way. Instead of being like, hey, I know what I'm doing, but I'm really not.
Hey, look, right now, I am both broke and principled. But I would gladly be not broke and unprincipled if that was an option.
I feel you.
I was going to ask, do you have any Do you have any like favorite artists in the field?
I like Powda a lot. Who? Powda? His name's Powda, like Powda. Powda.
I'm not familiar at all.
His like stuff is like insane. I think he was also on Face Off at one point.
You talking about the Travolta Cage movie? Or are we talking about something else?
No. Face Off is like a sci-fi special prosthetics fix makeup like thing. Like they essentially what they do is like they create different like characters, like character development, like what exactly did they come from, like how did they come to be the way they are, like why,
right on.
What, like, I guess like characteristics that they have that make them different to the others, like, and sometimes they'll have like different topics, like let's say like they're like, oh, like sea theme, so then they'll like come up with different sea creatures and what they do and all that.
Right on.
So like literally like they'll show the process of them like sketching out what they're gonna do first, and then they'll get their model. Yeah, like the whole process all the way through.
Right on.
And yeah,
that's got to be cool. To be honest, the only name I know off the top of my head is Tom Savini.
Yeah, that's another guy. I mean, I think every special effects artist knows who that is.
He just always looked like he was having so much fun when you watch the documentaries and stuff. It's like, dude, let me show you how this works. Right on. So now, I get the impression a lot of you, I have not seen a whole lot of your stuff, mostly the stuff that gets shared, which great. I mean, that's usually a good sign, right? When
I hope so.
When the people who aren't following you actually know what you're doing something right. But I get the impression you're leaning more towards the horror makeup type of stuff
at the moment. Yeah, because that's like what like my, I guess, what's the word? That's what I have access to. Okay. So if I had access to like other materials, I'd probably be doing more things with it, or like,
that goes back to the body casting and doing the prosthetics.
Yeah, like if I can be able to do that, I'm able to start like, creating my own characters, my own creatures, or my own like, stuff like that.
So like going back to, and I'm just kind of gluing pieces from what you're saying and what he's asking. Like in a movie, when somebody's something random, like if somebody falls or if they get run over and they break a leg and the bone comes out.
How do they do that?
Is that also makeup, or is that just more computerized CGI?
It's
like can you make It's
a bit of both, you know. Okay. It's a little bit of both. But it just really depends on like who the director is, who's shooting it.
But I was saying, but it is possible to make it look like. I broke my leg.
Most definitely. You could totally do that just with makeup. You don't need anything else.
God.
Yeah.
Damn, that's fucking
with crazy. Makeup and prosthetics.
That's fucking crazy. Is that how they did? I don't know if you know, but and maybe this is something totally different. But is that how they did the whole fucking, what's that movie called?
What happens?
The dude with the.
It's your story, man.
The dude with the pins.
Pinhead? Hellraiser?
That one. Is it that one?
Hellraiser's the one with Pinhead.
Yeah. That's all makeup, right?
Oh, yeah. It's like a prosthetic thing that they put on him. Like, they literally did a cast of his face.
Sean, I think I'm in the wrong field, bro.
Hey,
These jokes need to start paying off before I fucking...
I mean, I haven't got any, like... major projects. I'm not even making that much money right now. Everything that I have is out of my own pocket.
You're not supposed to say that.
That's when we start playing the Sarah McLachlan. We look into the camera and go, folks, we need your help. Actually, funny thing with the Pinhead stuff is I've seen the some of the computer edited stuff from the newer films. And you compare that to the behind-the-scenes stuff from the original.
Definitely. It's definitely different now.
Not only is it different, it looks worse.
It's because they're, like, heavily depending on CGI. Which, I get it. Like, it's cool, it's in. But at the same time, like I said, it takes out the real factor. And nobody really likes it.
Yeah.
Right.
Anything computerized is Like, we've had this discussion before as far as movies go. Like, when you shoot shit in a green room, like, it's cool. Like, you're all hooked up and you can see fucking Dwayne Johnson flying off a mountain. That's cool. But when you shoot shit on location and then cut and paste that shit out, like, into the movie, that's way more realistic. I don't know if y'all know the backstory, but in Furious 7, the last one that they made.
Okay.
Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it.
Fuck, then never mind. You won't get it. There's a scene in the movie, just real quick, where they have a bunch of cars on frozen ice, and you can literally like see fish in the bottom and shit. But
like that was real?
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. What they did was for like 2 weeks, they shot that scene in a green room. And when they shot it and they did the CGI and all that, it looked realistic.
Yeah.
But the director, he was just not convinced. He was like, this is not good. He kept saying like, it's not going to sell. It's not going to sell. Yeah. Like, I need to recreate this event in real life. And then the I don't know who the fuck it was, the assistant or whatever, he was like, the only way you're going to be able to do that is, and when they did it in the green room, the whole thing was that it was supposed to be taking place in Iceland. Okay. And jokingly, they said,
let's go to Iceland.
Well, you're going to have to go to Iceland if you want to recreate it. And he was like, well, fuck it, let's go to Iceland. And Tyrese, I don't know if you know him, but he's horrified and he hates cold weather. And he was like, I'm not, because that whole scene is mostly just him. Yeah. Right? And he was like, I'm not going to Iceland. I'm just not doing it. We're going to stick to this green room and get it right until we get it. And they tried it because of him. They tried it. And the director just, he's like, dude, it's not a sellable scene. You can't do it. So then after talking, they went, and legend has it that because of that fucking scene, they tossed him a bit more money. And they actually flew him out there for 4 days, and they shot the scene in
actual Iceland.
Yeah, and he said that those were the 4 most horrible days of his whole life. But and then in the actual Blu-ray, they have the backseat, the footage, the behind the scenes footage, and you can see both. And he was right. Like, you can see the difference,
the total difference.
The what was shot in the green room and what was shot in actually on location. And I was like, damn, that's why directors get paid a shitload of money too. That dude knew what he was talking about.
Something a little less drastic, but that definitely stuck with me. Have y'all seen Dale and Tucker versus Evil?
Oh yeah, I love that movie. It's one of my favorite movies.
That was, I was doing a lot of online bootlegging when that movie came out, and I managed to get the, I forget what they call it, the draft copy before they've gone in and replaced all the green screen and all that.
Okay.
And they did a lot of practical effects in that. You know, like there's the scene where the kid gets impaled on the branch. Mm-hmm. And that's actually a great example of it because, like, it's barely stuck onto him. It's kind of wobbling around. Mm-hmm. All they really did in post was go in and clean out the green screen and make sure that everything was straight. So it was, rather than being like, oh, we can't do this with makeup, it's like, no, we'll do it with makeup, but we won't, save a little bit of budget on the practical effects and then go in and clean it up. And to me, that seemed like a good marriage between the two.
Exactly. Like, I love it when there's like a beautiful relationship with both CGI and makeup. Like, I think that's like the best way to go.
Yeah, if you can blend it together like anything else, I mean, it works. But like you were saying earlier, if you do too much of one, it like you said, like it almost looks fake, and then you just kind of like I've seen some movies, like especially the older ones, where you can just tell. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but you can just tell like where the stab wounds. Like, dude, that you're not even stabbing them, and you can tell because the blood is there, but then it's not really there. As opposed to like when you say now that I know everything that you're telling me, I know that that's more than likely how they did it. When you see the stab and then you see shit coming out and he's still bleeding when he's running, and And there is a big difference. And when it comes to like watching shit on the big screen, that's what sells it for us. You know what I'm saying?
There's a great scene in. You ever seen Day of the Dead?
Day of the Dead. Is that on the black and white one? Or no, that's the Return of the Living.
No, it's the third one that Romero did. It's on the army base where they're trying to teach the zombies to be normal.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. And then there's that one zombie that like learns how to pick up a gun.
Salute people.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's that one scene in there where the base commander gets, I forget, I think the zombie actually shot him, so he's on the floor, and then they come in. They come in and start ripping him open while he's there. And if you ever get a chance to watch the behind the scenes stuff on that, first of all, that's one of those things where Savini was way too happy about what he was doing.
Dude, for real.
Because they had the actor like in a drop spot, right? So there's a hole cut out of the floor. He's sitting beneath, and they
have like a whole fake chest, like a whole live cast of his chest.
Well, here's the sweet part. They
use actual.
Oh, have you seen this bit?
Yes, I've seen it.
They left it sitting around for a couple of days, so that look on his face isn't horror; it's revulsion.
It's like what the.
It makes that scene so
dude, I can only imagine how foul that was.
Oh yeah, probably foul, and he probably didn't want to eat for a couple of days, but damn, it got the scene.
Yeah, that was crazy. The only thing that remotely reminds me of something like that is, have you seen that movie, Bad Boys 2?
Bad Boys 2. Oh, yeah.
With Martin Lawrence and Will Smith. Yeah. Well, you remember the scene where they go to Johnny Tapia, the big drug dealer's house, when he meets with the heads of the Russian mob?
I don't remember.
And that they go and they're sitting at the table, whatever. And before he goes to sit down, he was like, hey, maybe your friend can help, I don't remember what the fuck his name is, pick out a wine or whatever. So long story short, they go, they kill the guy, they chop him up in the kitchen, and they put him in a big barrel of flour, like in pieces.
Their brains?
Everything, the whole body, they stuffed it in a barrel, in a medium-sized barrel, right? And then he goes and puts up the barrel on a chair, like dripping with blood and shit, and he places it next to his partner. Next to his partner, because he was trying to teach him a lesson of like how serious he was about his money.
Yeah, he's like,
right?
Don't fuck.
Exactly.
Because this will happen to you.
And as in the scene, he kind of, when they brought it, he kind of looks and he's like, and then he starts talking. He's like, Tapia, this is disgusting, but in my country, we see this all the time and whatever. Point and moral of the story is that, again, when that scene was shot, they were struggling to get a realistic reaction out of the actor that was there, right? So they were like, well, we need to, and he was like, dude, you need to, and it just wasn't working because he kind of already knew what was going to happen, so on and so forth. So what they got him with was back what you were saying, with smell. So what they did was they got a bunch of raw like chicken meat,
okay,
and like cow carcass and stuff like that, and they put it at the bottom of the barrel. So when they put and the blood was real cow blood or whatever.
Blood.
So then they brought it exactly, and as soon as the thing they pull it out, I mean the stench hits you. So they finally, like, when he put it, he was like, and you can see it in the movie where he was just like, and then and that's
like,
how
oh God, what did I get myself into?
That's how they made that scene like fucking realistic. But you see the makeup, and again, the way you're explaining things to me now, about the prosthetics and everything. I'm pretty sure that was a life-size dummy that they cut up or whatever, but it looks real. Like, you can see the brains and the fingers and shit. So that shit was crazy. And I'm going back to, because what you were explaining earlier of how realistic, as opposed to just using straight CGI or whatever.
Right. I think that's when you're talking about like that, the kind of the texture that practical effects add to any project that you're doing that somebody else is going to see. I think what people discount a lot is the reaction of the actors to it. If you can't, I mean, I gotta imagine
you gotta sell it.
Yeah. If you're
sell it.
If you're staring at something that's that color and you're going, oh my god, and it's
going to that. Like I helped to work on this film. I'm not going to mention what it is, but I helped make it, and the makeup was supposed to be like a witch that's been like haunting this family for like 800 years, and like they're cursed or whatever. And so what their plan is, like, they have had enough and they want to get rid of the curse. So, but that's besides the point. I had to make her look like very witchy and like gross and like decrepit demon eyes and stuff. So I did that, and she did not sell it at all. Like the entire time she was just like laughing. They'd be like, okay, like do this, like you're throwing your bolt of like magic at him. So she's like smiling and stuff, and it's just like I couldn't take it serious. And then when we played back those clips of her doing that, like I could not hold myself from laughing. Like I could not at all. Like it was just so bad. And every single time she needed to be like really scary, she was like smiling, and it was just like, what?
And I take it the filmmakers weren't trying to make a.
No, they were like that was awesome, that was perfect, and I'm just like. Oh, what? Like
so they weren't even sure what kind of movie they were trying to make.
Yeah, I ended up. They sent me like their almost end product before like adding like music marks and stuff. So it's just all the audio and the video, and I was like, oh my god, this is so terrible. It was one of the first and the most terrible I've ever worked on.
But did the makeup look good?
The makeup looked good.
That's all that matters at the end of the day.
Yeah, I guess. But like if I want to have my name on something, I want it to be like legit. Exactly.
Well, here's a practical question. While you were talking about the whole trying to make her look decrepit and whatnot, how would you go about? Because this one kind of boggles my mind. I mean, I could think of a couple ways, but I'll just ask you: how would you go about giving that like dry kind of peeling look to skin?
So like they had like a sunburn or something and their skin's chipping off.
Right. Maybe they're just like dehydrated. Yeah. Real dry and flaking and yeah.
Okay. So like there's a whole bunch of different ways you could do that. It just really depends on the artist, what they're comfortable with. But to create that texture, it's pretty fucking simple. Like I could imagine creating that with literally Elmer's glue.
Okay.
You get me? Like you put it on like a surface that you can easily peel that shit off, but I mean you're not gonna make it too thick.
We used to do that shit all the time. Y'all never did that? Put it on your hand and
just like peel it off. Like you have that little effect, and then with that you would just like stick it on with like spirit gum and like make sure you didn't get all the edges, so it looked like it was like peeling off your actual face.
Okay.
That's how I would assume if I'm doing it DIY. If I'm doing it, I'm pretty sure. How they would do it would be like the exact same thing. Like they're using a material that has the exact same properties in it that are going to create that effect.
I get you.
For people that don't know, because you just slipped through it real quick.
Spirit gum.
Spirit gum. Spirit gum is a liquid adhesive. It like helps like attach like anything to you, like without falling off, without anything.
So in a sense,
it's like glue.
If you want to hold something shut, you would put that and it would hold it together.
I wouldn't think it's commercial if you want to like hold something shut. I think it's good for like momentary effects. Like maybe the longest it'll last is maybe like a day. But I wouldn't recommend having that on you for that long because it is pretty strong, and it doesn't smell too nice, and it's just I don't think it's good to have it on your skin that far. You can get like a reaction or something towards it.
I was going to ask about that. I would spirit. Would that be what usually
That's my go-to. That's what I go for. I know other people like using latex or they like using Prozaid, or any other type of liquid adhesive. But I prefer spirit gum. But before I ever start on anybody, I always make sure that they're not allergic to anything. And I'll do like a skin test before I try anything.
I was going to say, I'm big into watching a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. And a lot of the times you'll get the actors that have to wear the prosthetics talking about, having to go in and, is this going to make you break out? Is this going to make you break out? So I imagine since you're testing a lot of this stuff on yourself, you've probably, at least at this point, got a short list of stuff that you might want to ask people about first. Right on.
I didn't even think of that, like, until you brought it up, like, thinking of, like, people having
being allergic or being sensitive
reaction and shit like that. Like, that's crazy. Another thing that I was thinking about, because you're talking about all this makeup and, like, the repercussions, or you didn't say that, but that's what I was going to ask. When people use all this makeup, is there any permanent repercussions?
You mean like if, like, let's say they have like an allergic reaction or something?
Well, even if they don't, like, is there any way that maybe, and again, I hope it doesn't happen to anybody, but is there any risk that anybody can?
I think the only risk
that anybody can run that might cause like something long term.
Oh no, I don't think there's any long term damage. There's not even any short term damage. Well, unless you're allergic, but that's why we do the skin test to make sure that you're not.
The reason that I'm asking is because I forget the actor's name, but there was an actor that at 22 years old, he did a like a movie that was kind of like a recurring sitcom.
Okay.
Back in the early 80s and 90s. And his character required to wear a lot of, and I'm not sure if I'm even going to say it right, but I think it was called water paint.
Okay, so he was like allergic to that.
No, he it's not that he was allergic, but
that's the only thing he could have.
He would that's what his makeup was made of, right? Okay. So he put it. He would wear it every day or whatever, but some of the makeup would go into his head,
scalp,
right? His scalp. So then, because he didn't wash it off thoroughly, like every time. Long story short, he ended up going permanently bald by the time he was 23.
Okay.
And when he went to go get checked, they found out that it was that.
It was because of like constant chemicals.
That caused him to have complete permanent.
No, hair loss. All this stuff that I'm using, now I understand your question. I remember I have this like book from Ned Vizzini. It's called Grand Illusions. It's like him showing you how to make special effects and everything, like the way he did it, and like literally his story and everything. And in it, he says that you need to be careful with like the stuff you're using, because this stuff, I mean, you think about it, it's like they're adhesives, they're latexes, it's a whole bunch of chemicals that you're essentially working with. You need to be careful with how many times you use something, and how much you put of it. You need to make sure that the people that are getting this done are aware of what's going on at all times, because, something can happen. So someone can get like sick from like inhaling that. That's why you have to have like open ventilation and stuff like that. There's so many precautions that you need to take to make sure that it's completely safe for somebody. But I don't think there's any, for the materials that I'm using precisely, I don't think there's any long-term repercussions.
That was going to be my next question. Have you worked with anything yet that you are a little bit hesitant about?
I'm hesitant with prosthetics, mainly because the first time I ever tried to do anything, I tried to live cast like a bust on someone, and I thought I had all the information I needed. Like I thought I read up enough on everything, but I did not know enough. So this cast, it never hardened. It never hardened on my model. And it just like fell apart. It was terrible. And she was freezing and she was shivering because of how cold it felt, because it's just wet alginite all up on her.
It's just sucking all the body heat off.
Yeah. And she's trembling. I was like, you know what? We got to stop this. We can't do this. I'm like, obviously I didn't get all this information down that I thought I knew.
Okay. But nothing.
Nothing happened. She was totally fine. She ended up keeping the alginite rubber thing that we used to cast her with.
Okay.
she kept it as a little souvenir, I guess.
Okay, so that may be more of a technique that you'd want to be sure.
I want to make sure that like I absolutely know, like not that like I just like I read this and I saw this video. I get it. I want to absolutely like no, I know how to do that.
So what was the little bit too much water in the mixture?
Yeah, it was too much water, and I didn't wait for it to set before putting plaster sheets on it. So what that did, the plaster sheets ended up just keeping the water and everything in it. So the alganite, it's literally rubber algae. So
okay.
Once that dries, it's just like rubber and it shouldn't be wet, but it was wet. So I didn't wait for that. I think I was just trying to get through it. I saw her shivering. I was like, let's just try and finish this, try to get it done, whatever. And then another thing I found out, I was using the wrong alganite. I was not using the right one. So that also came to play.
That's always a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
You're using a substance that most people have no clue about, and you're using the wrong variation. It's like, shit. Yeah. There's not even anyone within 100 miles that would know how to answer your question. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I know this is totally random, but can I go to the bathroom?
By all means, go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, so these 2 workshops that you're doing coming up this month, these are the first workshops that you've taught?
The one that's going to be at Uberia is going to be like completely all on my own, like my own thing.
Oh, are you going to have someone else involved with the one down at the island?
I'm doing that for Soul Festival. They asked me to do a workshop for them.
Okay, sorry, I wasn't clear with the question. What I meant was, you're teaching all of these.
It's completely it's all me.
You in front of a room full of people trying to teach them stuff.
Yep.
These are the first workshops you've taught.
These would be like the second and third time.
Awesome. How was the first couple times?
The first time,
our first time. Sorry.
It's okay. The first time, I felt like although I was like, I only had like an hour, so I had to cram like 4 different things and like into that hour, and like all of them took maybe about 15, 20, 30 minutes. So it was just like really hard to really let people know like what to do. So I was like doing it and I wouldn't say anything. I just hope that they knew what I was doing. But that's why I thought that these special effects workshops that I'm doing with actual kids would be better. Because I'd be like walking around, be like, yeah, that's how you do it. Yes, this is good.
Right. I don't disagree. I've tried to do at least a couple of arts and crafts types of things. I mean, the professional is up front and they have all the knowledge, and that doesn't mean that it's going to get back into my brain. But, then again, you come across some folks that are just very good about going, you see this thing? You want to do it slightly different. You're like, hey, but, so like if these like go like really well, do you see yourself doing the workshops in the future?
I do see myself making more. Yeah. if this one goes well, this is like I guess like what's the word when
trial run?
Yeah, trial run. There you go.
Right on.
It's a trial run.
So to add to his question, and we don't have to go into details, or because I don't like to go into people's pockets, but as far as the monetary aspect of it, like are you making some money off it, or don't say how much. I don't want you to get assaulted and robbed or anything. If
no, I'm not gonna say how much, but
quick, give me your latex.
No, with the one that I'm actually doing myself, with the way I've been. One? Yes, this one that's coming up on the 12th. I hope that I make profit back from all the materials I'm buying to make this happen.
Mm-hmm.
So if I make profit, that'd be beautiful. If I don't, if I make even, okay, that's still good. I still have like a good turnout, so people still came or whatever. But ideally, I would like some profit back, so I could be able to make more workshops.
Yeah. So and that's also where I was going. So, because you said you have one workshop at Yerberia, then you're gonna have another workshop at the island. And we actually touched on this earlier as far as what we do. Mm-hmm. But do you think it would be more profitable for you if you kind of venture out and like do this on your own as opposed to like working with somebody else?
Most definitely.
But is it? I guess I asked the question wrong. Is it very, very possible that you can do it by yourself at this point?
At this point, I think it is possible, very possible, because I'm already doing it. So, I'm hoping with the profit that I make that I'm able to continuously be able to book different places to do it at.
Cool. Have you given any thought to? I know we briefly touched on it. I asked you about the cosplay earlier, but is that an avenue that you've looked at? I mean,
like cosplay?
Yeah, definitely. I know we don't have a huge scene down here, but the ones that are active seem to be fairly active. Has anyone approached you yet about it?
For doing cosplay?
Yeah.
I've had a lot of people like, why don't you do cosplay? Like, you'd be so good at it. And I'd be like, mainly because I don't have time. If I had more time, I'd probably be putting a lot of effort.
Just to be clear, I'm not saying like, cosplay yourself, but I mean actually work with the cosplayers.
Oh, okay. I haven't had that happen just yet, but I have had a few friends of mine that are cosplay. I guess so. Yeah. I've had cosplayer friends ask me if I could help them out with their looks. So if like they have a cut or like a bruise, I can like easily help them out with that. But I haven't done anything like else.
Okay.
I recently had someone commission me to do like what's his name? Is it Creep? Is it Creep or is it something else from X-Men? He's like the blue guy with like a tail.
Nightcrawler.
There you go. That guy. They want me to make him look like Nightcrawler. So.
How would you do the tail?
It's really easy. Like I think you would just do it like out of like styrofoam and then just like shape it and then like.
But as far as the movement.
Oh, like movement.
Or it wouldn't.
I think it would move all on its own. Like you would just like attach it or like make it into a belt and put it underneath the trench coat, and then just like it would just naturally sway on its own.
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
Right on.
Gotcha.
I'm trying to remember which movie did that right, where the guy walked in somewhere, some kind of lycanthrope or something, and his tail was swishing out from beneath the trench coat, and it's like that. Just you could tell that they were doing it practicals. It was like knocking stuff off of shelves and stuff. Right on. Okay, so let's see. Movie production, cosplay. What other avenues are you looking at?
That's a good question. Aside from that, not much right now because my time's limited. I have to like bounce myself around with this stuff, like my own projects, like with special effects makeup, and then also with like my soap business, and then.
With your what?
Soap business.
Soap?
Yeah, I make soap, like bath products.
Yes. But you make it?
Yeah.
Like from scratch?
Somewhat. Sometimes, yes.
How does that work?
Soap. The most fastest way to make soap is like you buy already a pre-made base, depending on what it is. If you have like a honey base, or you have like shea butter base, or you have like what else, like olive oil or hemp or whatever. But anyway, you use a base, and then from there, like you add in your like essential oils and your like whatever. If you want your skin to be like soft, so you add your softeners. If you want your skin to be more like firm, you add your firmers. If you're gonna add any colors to it, you can do that. And then you literally just melt and pour and hope for the best.
So it's just like you, in a sense, you get all of these. I don't want to call them materials, but products, and you kind of mix them together.
Pretty much.
And get the fragrance, and then mush the soap together. I'm sorry if I'm not using. Sorry if I'm not using the correct term.
You just melt it all together.
Melt it. That's the word.
Yeah, you melt it all together, and then you like pour it in your.
Got you. In a sense, thing. Is that the same way that you would go about lotion? No?
Yeah, it's like about the same as lotion. Yeah. With lotions, I think it's a little bit different. I haven't learned how to do it completely out of scratch.
Because I had a friend that used to make her own body lotions.
Okay.
And I mean, they would smell good. But like she would literally, everything was natural. Like she would use a lot of like leaves and fruits and freaking
like natural herbs.
Yeah, natural herb. Everything was that.
That's awesome.
And she would always do it, but for herself. And I would always tell her, I was like, dude, this shit, yeah, you should make your own line of shit, like, and you do it here at your house. And she was like, she had the lamest excuse. She was like, I'm too lazy. You're already fucking doing it. What do you mean you're too lazy, you know? Yeah. But, and I was just saying because, like, it was very, like, she was good at it. Kind of like what you're saying, like, you make your own soap and shit like that. Wow. And any of that, like, soap or whatever, do you sell yet or no?
Yeah, I actually do. I would sell, like, at, like I would go vend, like, at, what's it called, like, Pokefest or like whatever like shows that they'd have at Yerberia or Cino Ray.
Yeah.
Or I would like just independently just sell it. But yeah.
Okay, I've got one comment and two questions.
Okay.
The comment would be for our home listening audience. I have a little bit of experience with the home soap, like bar soap.
Yeah.
If you decide to use sandalwood, be sure it's either fine grain or you need to shred that stuff down. I used a bar of homemade stuff one time that just had, it had
like chips in it?
Yeah, basically I'd run the stuff over myself and then have like these demonic looking scratches. Like, no. Jesus, I feel so exfoliated.
That's what I was going to say.
Was it meant for your body though? Like, was it just meant for your face?
Yeah, no. It was full body soap. It was just homemade, and the person making it left the wood chips in there.
Yeah, I remember one time when I was first making soap, I made a soap like with granulated like orange peel, but some of the orange peel wasn't like completely granulated, so there's like little chips of it, and I would use that for my face, and they would always like poke me in the face. I was like, okay, we need to completely make sure that everything's like grounded enough to make sure that it doesn't like fucking scratch anybody.
Yeah, I've used some weird, pumice soap and I've never used the granulated orange peel, but some real nice sandalwood stuff that just goes on fine. I'm almost wondering if maybe there's a soaking process you need to do beforehand just to kind of get the oils in there and soften it up. But just a little tip for the home soap makers, don't put sawdust in your soap unless it's fine grain. The first question was, have you started playing around with the soaps to get the makeups off?
Oh, okay. Like, yeah, totally. I totally test that factor to see if like, is my soap good enough? Like, is it going to wash off like very like sticky stuff? Like, is it able to do that? And at first, I did not know much about soap. Like everything that I do is like a learning process for me. Right. So, obviously I had some fails in there.
I haven't said this, but I just want to throw it out there and I mean it. I commend you for your fucking entrepreneurial effort and like you do. I don't know if you noticed, but you do a lot. You do a lot, and I
the other day I was like, holy fuck, like, why am I involved in so much shit? Like, how did I get this far? Like, how
did these seem like good decisions?
Yeah, I'm like, shit, there's just so much now, like, I just don't know. But I I'm like really blessed. I like to
yeah, man, because, and I look at it because you don't have to tell me, but I can tell you're really young. And that's why, like, I respect there's people your age, and I think you've told me your age once.
25.
Yeah, you did. And I think it was because of Shooter. Y'all were having...
Oh, yeah, we were trying to figure out how old Shooter was.
Yeah, so you're very young, and you got that, like, hustle, like, I'm going to do it. People today at your age are not fucking...
I think a lot of it has to do with my dad. My dad was like 16, like when he had his like first kid. I mean, it wasn't me, but I
love the way you threw that out there. It wasn't me; it was somebody else.
But as soon as he was 16, like he had to start hustling. So like at age, he was like building houses and shit. And my dad till this day still builds houses. Like it's crazy.
Damn,
like. but I see the way that man's lived, and I'm just like, holy fuck! Like I gotta keep up with that.
My grandfather was one of the biggest hustlers that I've known, and fortunately and unfortunately, he started hustling at the age of 12 in Mexico the right way, like shining shoes, selling fucking cigarettes, and selling gum and candy and shit. And then unfortunately, when he grew older, he got into the drug trade and all of that, did time in prison and shit like that. But he was always, at a young age, he learned that it didn't always have to be something bad. Like, you don't, like, hustling was just not about drugs. He learned that he could flip anything. So that's when he went back to doing shit legally. After a while, he learned that he could sell cars. He started selling cars, and he just kept doing it. Then, unfortunately, until he got sick physically, that he couldn't move anymore, is when he stopped. Yeah. He stopped working. But other than that, I mean, it's funny because he used to tell us all the time. I feel that he was like, I feel that anybody could, sell anything. You just have to want to. You have to want to do it. He's the one that told me, he's like, I'm so good at this shit that I can sell ice to an Eskimo. And I was like, well, goddamn, bro. I mean, I got you.
Yeah. So I don't know. My parents are my biggest motivators because, like, my dad, like, has been through so much shit. Like, he was in, like, in a car accident, was, like, paralyzed for, like, a long time before he was like, fuck this. Like, I don't want to be in bed anymore. Like, I'm going to fucking walk. So he taught himself how to walk. Yeah. And he started, like, slowly but surely, like, was able to, like, completely walk upright. I mean, don't get me wrong, he still has a limp, but it's completely better compared to how it was. Yeah. I don't know. My mom's battled cancer for like forever. Like, it wasn't until like this year that they finally declared her completely like cancer free. So that was fucking awesome. Yeah. Nice. Like, fucking since I was like young, she's always been battling it. But like, despite all that shit, like, they've always continued to like hustle because they knew that they had to like get this shit done. They knew like what needed to be done. They knew that this would benefit their family and them ultimately.
And my mom, I get a lot of shit like from my mom too, that she was always like that. Like, she was always like that. She was always on the move. She was always on the hustle. She never spoke a lick of English other than hi. Mm-hmm. And like, that was it literally. But that didn't stop her. Like, so she couldn't really hold an actual 9 to 5 job because it required fluent English, and so she just couldn't. They wouldn't give her the job, but that didn't stop her from feeding me. When I was a kid. So what she did, she started her own catering business out the house, literally, and that for like 10 years. That's how she supported me and shit. And just that she made anything, like, and anything that that's why, like, when you were talking right now, it was reminding me of that.
Dude, I love food. That's another thing I love.
and it almost made me choke up because she was the same way, like, if she didn't know how to do something, she would figure it out. She was like, because her mentality was like, if they can do it, I can do it too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, and she would always like make that happen. Like, I remember one time I told my mom that, and I was a kid. I was like 8 years old, and at 8 years old, Freddy found out that waffles were better than pancakes. So, because that's when I had waffles. Fuck you, son.
Waffles are so much better than pancakes.
Hell yeah.
I have questions, not judgment.
So my mom didn't know how to make waffles. Because for the people watching and for the people listening, you cannot use pancake batter to make a fucking waffle. It's not the same thing. You have to make waffles with waffle batter, and there's a recipe for waffles. Mm-hmm. So she figured that out because I told her, I was like, this is not the same shit, man. It's like you're giving me a pancake and a waffle shape, Yeah. So she was like, well, I ain't never done it before. And but I remember, and this was before online. This was when you actually had to go into books and shit. Yeah. So she did. She found books and she shit like that, and my mom learned to make waffles just so her fucking kid could have waffle, not a pancake. So
that's what's up.
Yeah.
My mom was one of those types too. She was literally everything. She's like, how do I make a dress? Like, how do I make a lamp? How do I make this? Like, she's always creating different shit. Yeah. Always.
She started making her own fucking what do you call those? Women don't wear them anymore, but the shit that goes under the dress.
Yeah, I know what those are.
That shit.
Yeah, my mom would make those too.
She started making those too just because. I'll never forget. She used to get them at Walmart back when Walmart was like for rich people. Well, because we were broke, right? But you know what I'm saying? Walmart was a step up for us,
Yeah.
So she was buying them there, right? But then she found out they went up $1, and she was like, "Fuck that! I'm not paying $1 more." So she learned to make those shits, and she never bought one again.
That's pretty fucking sweet.
But my mom was
kudos to your mom.
Yeah, she was my number one hustler, man. She taught me she taught me how to do it. Unfortunately, I took it a different direction, and she wasn't so proud of me. That's a different story.
You're gonna make me cry.
You don't know the half, right? But moving on.
Okay.
DIY, arts and crafts, emotional stability.
Should we show them what this is?
Oh, by all means, yes.
Okay, so this is
no, but you want to explain before you get into that.
Yes.
And you start explaining what it is. You want to explain to them, people watching, why
I have this?
Yeah.
This is a special effects kit that's gonna be at the actual event itself, like at the workshop. So instead of you just watching me and what I'm doing, you'll be able to have access to these materials. So as I'm teaching, you guys can do it too, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So this kit's gonna have your basic sponges, stipple sponges, Vaseline. I'll tell you what these do right now. Nose and scar wax, blood, some spirit gum remover, and these little blue sticks. Yeah.
Okay, what's this?
They would be using for bruises. So basically, like the red, the yellow, the blue, the black, all of that is going to help you create a realistic bruise.
And this is like
they're like little makeup crayons.
I was about to say like a crayon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you applying that directly to the skin or
directly to the skin?
And can I have the other one now? The one that you said, the blood, not the blood. That one. What's that?
This is nose and scar wax. That's what they
nose and scar wax.
Yeah, that's what they're going to be using to formulate a wound or any type of wound, like a cut or like a scar or a gash or a bullet hole. Like you can do so much with it. And it's basically like a putty that you stick onto your skin.
Yeah.
And
I'm sorry y'all for the shitty camera angles. We only have one camera. We need your support to get a better camera. Just throwing it out there.
In the
where you at, Sarah? We need you. Now, is that the consistency on that? Is that like a molding clay?
It's like it's wax.
Oh, okay.
It's like a type of wax.
So it softens up real quick. But
yeah, it softens up, but it firms up.
Okay.
The longer it stays on your skin, of course, like it warms up. Wax naturally begins to get less and less firm.
Mm-hmm. Is there I know there's a proper term for this, but a holder,
to hold it in place. or what?
Yeah, when I'm trying, I know there's a word for it because I used to use it in art classes where if you're doing a pencil drawing, you want to lay the pencil down and then
gloss it so it stays.
Spray it over so it doesn't come.
Oh, like so you're asking if it was like a setting spray?
Fixative. That's what I was looking for.
The fixative itself, I've seen different people use like they'll put like latex on top, like a little layer of latex just to keep it there. Mm-hmm. But I don't really do that. I just use the spirit gum and just keep it there.
Right on. When somebody starts paying you to keep the makeup on for 12 hours at a time,
then you get that. You get like a little vial of blood for that. It's what are these called? Ear something. Q-tip.
There's another word.
It's a cotton swab.
There you go.
Some cotton swabs.
Q-tip doesn't need our endorsement.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're not sponsored by Q-tip. So.
Now, one question I was going to ask is, again, like I said, I've watched a lot of those behind-the-scenes documentaries and stuff.
Yeah.
Does the fructose actually work as a blood substitute?
I've heard of that.
Yeah, like where it's just like corn syrup and like dye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't like making that type of blood. I've made it in the past. Like I've seen other ways of making, like where you can use like cocoa butter, like green and red dye and water. There's like another way you can make blood like that. Okay. But I personally don't like it because it's too sticky, and it's too sticky, and two, it just doesn't look real. I think it just does not look good. Like whenever you like play it back like on a camera, it looks like a syrup. It doesn't look like blood. It looks like a syrup, and that doesn't look right.
Yeah.
I mean, I can get it. Like if you use it, like let's just say someone got shot and they're bleeding out on the floor and there's blood all over the floor. Like I guess you could use that and that would be believable.
Right.
But other than that, I don't like using it.
You know, as you're saying that, I'm thinking about like some of the shots from like the 80s and 90s movies where they'd
cover people in that stuff.
Well, not just that, but you'd get that slow, like the pooling of the blood out on the floor.
Like the dripping and stuff.
They'd do like the shot of the blood slowly creeping across the floor, and you probably get a little more theatrical feeling with the syrup type of consistency.
Yeah.
Than you would with, just here's the pig's blood. Mm-hmm. So,
back to what you were saying with your little kit. Mm-hmm. I don't want to use the wrong terminology. What's it called again?
This is just a little mini kit.
Mini kit. Okay. So correct me if I'm wrong, but from what you told me earlier, this is what they get, but they're going to purchase, right?
Yes.
So what they pay at the door, they get the kit.
Okay, so this just to avoid confusion, the special effects workshop and the crafts are going to be held inside, and the show itself are going to be outside. Because I know that I've been getting questions lately where people are like, "I'm going to have to pay for the show and both the workshop." That doesn't make sense. I'm like, no, you're not, because there's going to be someone outside for the show, and there's going to be someone inside. But the one that's going to be inside is me. So you're literally just going to come up to me, and if you're going to want a kit, then you pay for the kit. But you just pay. I don't know what the question was again.
No, but what I'm saying is...
Okay, now I'm a little bit confused. So they need to pay. They have to pay to get in for the show, right?
Yes, but what they're paying for is the kit itself. Like if they just want to sit down and see, they can totally do that. I'm not going to charge them.
Right on.
It's just the charge that's there is for the kit. If they want to use the kit, it's not if...
Right on.
Yeah, I should probably write that somewhere like, hey, y'all, you could still come. You just can't use the kit if you want to buy the kit,
Something like spectators welcome or something like that. Are there any like specific tools in there that...
There's no specific tools aside from the cotton swabs.
Okay, and the... I don't even know what you would call that. The sponge?
Little sponge. That little sponge is that's a stubble sponge. There's going to be a regular sponge in there, and there's going to be spirit gum and remover, but I didn't have that right now. Okay. But that sponge is used to like create, let's just say like, you got slashed in the face, and naturally your blood's gonna splat everywhere, right? Mm-hmm. So what that sponge does, it helps you create that effect. You literally put some blood on it and just stipple it, and it literally looks like it's squirted out. Or you can use it to create a scrape, and just like literally grab it, drag it, and there you go. There's your scrape. Right. But you can use it for a whole bunch of different things.
Okay. Now, assuming this is the starter kit, I'm going to go ahead and guess that the kit you're working with when you're doing your projects is a little bit more extensive than that, right?
No, I'm going to try and use the same stuff that they're using.
Okay. Well, I meant when you're working on your projects, when you're doing that.
When I'm working on my projects, yes. Like I have a little bit more, I guess, yeah, like more advanced stuff. But I don't think it's that advanced. I think it's pretty easy. Like aside from this, that they'll be getting, like I use like water activated colors, and that's something that they won't have that I have.
Okay.
I'm so bad at this. I'm sorry. My brain's
cool. Like what are the water activated colors for?
They're for anything like really. Like you can use it for body painting, or like face painting, whatever. I find them more easier to use because they're more easier to blend, and I feel like they create a more realistic feel versus using something like with grease paint. Or something, because grease paint is like very shiny and it doesn't look too good. It looks like, it's shiny. It's not good. Oh my
god. Okay. The photographs that you do, are those, you're doing those all on your own? You're doing
all of that's on my own. If I do ever use anyone to photograph anything, usually it's shooter. Mm-hmm. But that's rare, and I'll always put credit for whoever is doing what they're doing for me.
Right on. Well, I was kind of gonna use that as a leading question into do you find the different, say, photography techniques or
definitely. Like I feel like my own photography, like whenever I take my own things, like I have a certain like look, but whenever I try to like tell someone else like, hey, this is what I want, they get the idea, but then they also incorporate their own way, and I can't be mad at them for that. I can understand that they want their own like artistic put in. Right. I totally understand, but I totally understand I'm aware of that, so I always like just go with it. Really. Okay.
I would assume when you start working on the more extensive projects, at least for film, I would imagine, again, with photography, it'd be a little bit easier if somebody screws up the lighting. You can go back and fix it in the post, but with film, it might be a little more difficult to. As you were saying with the grease paint, if it's a little bit shiny, it's like, why does that scar tissue look like that? You know? So I'm guessing you're probably still kind of going through the catalog of techniques, going like, will this work here? Will this work here?
Yeah, definitely. A lot of it is hands-on experience, to be honest. I'll be like, oh, that didn't really work. I need to redo that again.
Right on. Let's see. There's got to be something. What do you like? All right, I know you're saying the horror type of the gore and whatnot is really kind of your thing. Is there anything you want to work on though? Like prosthetics, of course. You mentioned that. Yeah. I mean, I guess there's just so much you could really do with it. But fake hair. Have you played around with that yet?
No, not yet. Like that looks really cool. Like wig making and like mustache. Like I've seen people like create like mustache and beards. Like I don't know how to explain, but it's literally like
I just love the fact that like she talks about it, and I can fucking see her excitement in her face, and that's what the fuck gets me. That's how you know that somebody loves what they're fucking doing. That's why I had to point that out.
Thank you.
It's cool.
Yeah, I was just thinking maybe like a hairy mole or something, but like you're talking like full.
Oh yeah, like I already know how to make a hairy mole.
That's fucking gross, son. Keep your porn obsessions like. I love making them uncomfortable on camera.
Not uncomfortable. I was just thinking. Aside from the sensibilities of our guests, we could trade fetishes right now, sir. Thank you very much.
They took paraplegic midgets off the category, so mine's gone.
That was like a very deep gulp.
All I'm thinking is, who is they? All right.
Shout out to Pornhub.
Incorrigible is our word for the day, children, is incorrigible. Freddy can't spell that.
Definitely not.
Okay. Have you gotten a chance to work with anybody down here that you think you'd probably like to, like, you're like, oh shit, they're doing the kind of stuff I want to be playing with?
I know a few people down here that like special effects makeup or are doing some form of it. I've only met 2 individuals that know how to make prosthetics and stuff like that. And I would want to work with them, but I'm also very, very intimidated by them because I don't know how to make prosthetics just yet, like to their caliber. So I'm like super intimidated to reach out, but I would love to work with them.
But don't be
scared.
Yeah, and don't be afraid. Like there's what I mean is, like, there's nothing wrong with going in as a learner, and there's nothing wrong with admitting, like, hey man, like, I don't know how to do this shit, like, but I'm here because I know.
Like I've realized a lot of people when they're like good at, like, an elite at what they're doing, they don't like people asking them questions.
Well, that's just
I don't want to be one of those types of people.
No, like that's just all around. Like, people are just gonna be dicks. But even the ones that don't know what they're talking about at times, they want to pretend like they're better than you in your craft or whatever. But I mean, that just depends on the person. But I mean, if somebody that's been doing it for years, but they're still approachable, and you're a pretty good people reader, I'm pretty sure you can, who you can. I don't know.
It's like it's a special effects makeup right now, especially where I'm at least here. It's like a dog world, because when I was first starting to do it, there was like people in the game that were already doing it for a long time, and everyone was like, hey, you need to reach out to that person, you need to reach out to them because they do that too, and maybe you guys can get together, you can work on something together, whatever, blah blah blah, you can be an apprentice, whatever. And I'm like, well, yeah, let's do it. But then when it came down to it and I talked to these people were like super like reserved, like cut off, like they did not like want me to know how they did what they did. Like they felt like I was like trying to replace them, and so I got a lot of like negativity from that. And a lot of people not a lot of people, but the people that were doing special effects makeup down here would like block me. They were like, we don't want to be friends with this girl. And I didn't understand why. And I mean, I don't want to sound cocky or anything. You can block that out if you want. But when I would see like their styles or how they did it, like I would see my own and I was just starting and I'd be like, fuck, I'm a lot better than that. Like, I can understand why.
Do you think a lot of it may have been that reaction? Is kind of that, oh shit, she's way better at this. A little.
But I mean, I want to remain humble and be like, no, like I don't know what I'm doing, whatever. But I like to believe that I've spent enough time and enough effort to like know what I'm doing, and feel confident in it. And I don't know. There's people that would want to work with me. I have so many people that are like, I want to do this. And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And then it happens. And there's so many people that say they want to do something just so they can like know how I did something. And then like, okay, just
yeah.
But like, it's weird. It's really weird.
Well, I've always thought that no matter what you do, no matter what your craft is, even if you meet those people that just kind of want to get in to kind of see what expertise they can take from you, that's fine, because if they steal it from you, there's only so much that they can repeat that same thing.
Oh no, I totally believe that. Like, what is it? There's a word for that. I forgot though. I can't think of it.
What? Well,
I'm trying to remember what it's a word. Never mind.
Oh.
I'm hurting my brain.
But yeah, like that was if you're good at your craft, I mean, they can steal some shit from you or whatever, and they can. But there's only so far that they'll be able to go with it if they're not creative themselves, and if they're not.
Okay, yeah, I get you.
You know what I'm saying? So, and it's funny because I was actually watching Rogan's podcast today, and they were talking about that in regards to comedy, about how there's people that steal jokes from other people. And I mean, that's fine. Rogan was saying, like, it's not fine. I mean, it's addicting to do, but just think about it. If they take a joke or they steal a joke, there's only so much that they can ride that wave until it fizzles out. And then if it fizzles out and you can't write, well, then what the fuck are you gonna do? It's like your so-called career comes at a dead stop. You know what I mean? So you have to be. You always have to be creative, and that was my point. And for the person that's creative, even if they stole something from you, or they stole your idea, you're the creative one, so you're gonna be able to keep coming up with more ideas. Oh, they took that, I'll just come up with something else.
No, yeah, that's where like most of my confidence comes from, because I know like they may try to replicate this, but they won't ever get it to what I created.
Exactly.
And what is it? Imitation is the best type of flattery, right? That's what I was trying to say earlier.
Okay. It's just like Pepsi. Pepsi will never be like Coke.
I fucking love Pepsi.
I don't.
I think Pepsi is so much better than Coke. I'm
Hell
sorry.
no, Pepsi's watered down Coke.
Shots fired.
Look, as long as we can all agree, Mr. Pibb is the shit.
Mr. Pibb's alright.
It's okay.
I will take an eye.
I like Dr. Pepper.
Actually, I was talking with an older headlining comic a while back, and he dropped a line on me. Shout out to Sam Butler. Actually, there were a bunch of us holed up in a hotel room smoking cigarettes, going like, "Yes, and tell us more." But it was Tupperware comic was the phrase he used, and what he was referring to was people that will. Like you invite them onto a show and they come in, they're like, yeah, I'm glad to be here and all that. And then their modus operandi is to basically take as much of your audience and take it with them when they go.
Yeah.
You know, it's like showing up to the Tupperware, they show up to the barbecue, they take your leftovers, they fuck off. And they
never bring you back your Tupperware.
Right. And it's, he had some other stuff along with that, but the takeaway I kind of got from it was if you are a creative type and you have the mind that can put stuff together, you know that you have that ability to put stuff together, but the onus is kind of on you. It's like, look, you're never going to get away scot-free. You know, it's not going to be like I went in and I got exactly what I wanted and I got out without having to pay any bills. It's like, no, you got to be so productive that like the little things just kind of, it's like, oh, I helped you, but you didn't help me. That's fine. I don't ever have to work with you again. You know what I mean? And the thing is, if that person can't be productive on their own, you never have to worry about them because it's not going to get to that point where, you know, a couple years down the road, oh, we're fighting over the same job. It's like, nope, you ran out of ideas because you never had any to begin with.
Yeah, exactly. That was the point I was trying to make.
In the beginning, I was like really, really like self-conscious, and I was like, "Fuck, like I'm probably not good." But then I was realizing that like I'm the only one that's doing this right now. So, or at least at the time, it wasn't until like actually this long or 3 years down that I began to realize that there was other like-minded individuals that I was around this entire time that I never even talked to.
Well, there's a question: Have you since you did come up against that kind of established resistance type of thing? Have you Have you made any? Has there been any effort to kind of network amongst the local, say, lower scale craftspersons?
Oh no, they're all skilled. They're all really good at what they do. They're not
lower scaled, not skilled.
Oh well,
you know
they're skilled. They're pretty skilled.
Fucking A. Pretty skilled. Are you guys starting to talk to each other? Kind of.
We're talking to each other. We'll exchange like experiences, like how we did something. where we can find information, like references, try to find different stuff, like where we can get a certain material that we can't find. Like we'll share that amongst each other, and so that as well has been like very, very helpful.
I imagine so. There's a question right off the bat, or not right off the bat, but 2.5 hours into this thing, were there any books or reference material?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I mentioned earlier, Tom Savini's what is it? Grand Illusions book, the first copy he made. That has a lot of information, like how to make prosthetics, like the rigs that like I told him about earlier, like how to do that. About like how. Well, anyway, I don't have to tell you what exactly the book says, but yeah, that book is very helpful. There's another book that I have that's what's his name? Something Garcia, something. But he's also a special effects artist. He's with Wetworks SFX, and he created his own reference book, and that has like actual wounds in it, like real life stuff. So it has like burns, scrapes, cuts, bullet holes, scabies, herpes. Like it has like a whole bunch of shit, like real life stuff that you can go and look at and recreate, and it will look just like the real thing. But those are the two main books. I had another book that I had. I gave it away to someone that was also into SFX, and I wanted her to have something. Right. Yeah, but yeah, I've gotten several books.
Right on. I mean, it's always nice. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you can go to a workshop and actually get the hands-on thing, that's always great. But being able to sit at home with a little.
No, dude, reference is very powerful. Like, there's so many like things that I'll try and be like, oh, like off of my head, like I know what a dog bite looks like, and then I'll try and do it, and then look at an actual dog bite, and I'm like, holy shit, that looks nothing like a dog bite. Like, what the fuck was I doing?
I'll be honest. The first time I got bit by a dog, I was looking at it thinking like, that's not at all what I thought that would look like. But yeah, I was thinking more along the lines of like small techniques. The little like first start here. First try your brews with colors, then try
like that type of book.
Well, whatever. I mean,
no, I haven't seen anything like that. So far, I'm pretty sure there's books out there that have that, but I haven't found any. For the most part, my books have been like online tutorials.
Right on.
So I'll look at like different techniques from different types of artists and how they did it, and just like come up with one on my own.
Right on. Has YouTube been any help with this?
Hardcore help. Like YouTube has been like a major impactor. So I'm constantly looking up tutorials.
Nice.
I'll tell you what, Freddy, you got any specific questions?
I think you I had one, but I forgot.
Okay.
Yeah. I had. Well, I'll add. That's not what I wanted to ask, but this is a serious question because I was thinking about it, and the only reason I want to do this is literally for the picture of it, because I would like to use it. But would you? I'm guessing from everything that you told me, recreating. You've seen the Terminator movie, right?
Are you talking about the robot face?
Yeah. So there's a part.
I actually recently saw how they did that. It was really awesome.
So can you do that with makeup?
I'm pretty sure I could.
Because I was gonna say it'd be cool if one of these days, and I'll pay you. Mm-hmm. Just don't get out of my budget. I'll pay you, but it'd be cool if you could do that to half of my face, but make it look as realistic as possible.
Yeah.
And I would like to take a picture because I'm gonna use that as my headshot.
Totally. We can totally talk about this.
Yeah.
I guess like on another day, instead of like all this. No, but definitely, I could probably help you out with that. Like literally, like everything that I do, like when people ask me to do something, I don't know how to do it. So what I do is like I learn how to do it and I make sure that I know it. And before I even tell them like, yes, I can do it, I'm just like, give me a second, let me look up how I can do that, and then I'll get back to you. And for the most part, everyone's like, awesome, just let us know, and then I'll get back to you and be like, yeah, I can do that. This is how I can do it.
So yeah, if you could definitely go ahead and do that. And I really do want to just use it for headshot purposes and just for shits and giggles.
Yeah, for sure. I can help you.
I'll be honest. One of my favorite scenes of practical effects ever, and I think it actually got cut out of the original movie, but there's a scene in Terminator 2 where I think maybe part of the scene is still in, where they've got Schwarzenegger sat down in front of a mirror, and then Linda Hamilton starts peeling back part of his skull to get into the computer. And the whole thing is done. I think they were using Linda Hamilton's twin sister and then like Schwarzenegger's body double. But the idea that they had to double up.
They actually made a whole live cast of him. So that was probably just a live cast. It wasn't even a double. It was like a silicone live cast.
Jeez. But the idea that they had to double up the practical effects and then match the shot. And it's like, and plus it's just like, if you watch the director's cut of the movie, it actually adds more because it's like, I cannot learn anything new. And then they flip the switch and he's like, now I can learn things. You're like, all right, this makes way more sense. Hasta la vista, baby. But
that's all I had.
I'll tell you one question. What have you seen recently, like in whether it be photograph or film, that you just went like, fuck, I want to know how to do that?
That's a good question. I haven't really looked up anything aside from that. When he mentioned Terminator, I was like, holy shit, I just saw that the other day. Like, I would like literally watch like the whole behind the scenes, like how they created like a whole body live cast of him, and like literally like every single thing. Like they showed you how they painted it. They showed you how they like pricked in hair, like poked in hair to his fucking thing. Like it was crazy. But I saw that just behind the scenes how they made that live cast.
Right on.
Nice. Nice. That's all I got.
Are we good? Because I need to pee again.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. Before we let you go real quick, if you want to throw out the social media contacts.
Oh, yeah. I have a Facebook and an Instagram. They're both called Alter Switch FX. But yeah, you can follow me on that if you want. I like it. I have my events posted on the Alter Switch FX page. So if you guys want to check that out as well, it's on there.
Nice.
Okay. And they can see your work on the Instagram page,
yeah,
right?
They can see on either page. There'll be stuff there for them to check it out.
Okay. Did that Witch movie ever come out?
They're still working on it.
Okay. Well, by all means, when that comes out, let us know. And if you're happy with the end product, we'll gladly promote that.
All right, for sure.
And plug in your events.
Oh yeah. October 12th at Yerbury Cultura, I have it's called The Return of Craft Night. There's going to be literally arts and crafts for you to choose from, like Halloween themed crafts, and it's going to be like super legit. And then there's also going to be a workshop and then some bands also playing October 12th. The workshops, there's one workshop from 8 to 9:30, and then there's another from 10 to 11:30. Nice. So if you don't make the first one, you can make the second one.
Okay.
Pre-sale right now are $25. And then at the actual event, it's $35 for the kit. You don't need to pay for anything if you just want to sit down and watch. But if you want to use the kit and you want to know how to do it, that's how much it is.
Cool. Okay. And one last thing before we wrap up. I remember what I was
on that same subject. Sorry. The one down at South Padre, is that open to the public, or is that?
That is open to the public. I believe it's $5 to get to the event itself and be able to look at all the different stuff that they'll have there. Okay. It's going to be at the South Padre Convention Center,
and that is
on the 18th.
Right on.
They have not told me what time yet, but I'll be constantly posting about it. So if you don't see it now, you'll see it later.
Okay, and you can get information on that through Cinesol, right? Through
Cinesol or my actual page on Alter Switch FX on Facebook. Right. For that, you'll probably find that on Facebook.
Okay. Freddy?
Thank you for interrupting me. I'd rather ask off camera.
Okay.
Good choice, Freddy. So, Alter Switch FX, by all means, go look up Miss Trevino. She is damn good at what she does.
Sorry, I was super awkward.
No, I got to ask one more question.
Okay.
You still riding the skateboard?
I still ride the skateboard, and it's a longboard. It's not a skateboard.
It's a longboard.
I was going to say longboard, but I was like, I don't know enough about this to be using terms like that.
Nice.
Yeah. Hey, keep it up.
I mean, it's not as like frequent, but I'm still riding that thing.
I haven't seen the board at the bar, so that's why I asked.
Yeah, Yeah. I drive. We drive there now. So, like, we used to live like a few blocks away, so we would always skate to work. But since moving like super fucking far, we just drive.
Distance, psychotic people on the road. Yeah, there are reasons.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Okay, Freddy.
You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Freddy G. And do I have any shows coming up?
I don't know. Do you?
What are they called? The ASMR? ASMA?
I think it's ASMR.
Is it ASMR?
No idea what it stands for.
I forgot what it's called, but it's like, they're like things where like people are like, hello, today we will be opening a box. And then they'll get the box close to the mic and they'll be like, do you hear that? It's the box. And just like open. And then open it and be like, this is what's in the box. And just like make different noises.
If you ever get a chance, there are some clips of Aubrey Plaza doing that for a while. And she did an interview. She was like, oh, dude, it's great. But she's just way too excited to be doing it.
I know, people are like, eat that shit up. It's crazy.
Oh, the numbers they get on like Twitch.
Dude, seriously, like there'll be people like eating pickles. Like,
I'm still amazed how the fuck people make a $4 million salary a year just off of fucking opening toys. Yeah, I don't get it.
Oh, yeah, there's like this other thing that I've seen where they're like cutting up soap.
There's this dude, he's a Toy Story fanatic. And that's all he does. Anything Toy Story. And yeah, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to say it. All he does is turns on the camera and opens the fucking toy. And he's like, this is Woody. It's like, motherfucker, I know. Why are you getting paid?
Are those like those goo things?
Yeah. That's what's blowing up now. The slime is what's... Damn it, Sean, we're in the wrong business.
Dude, there's been a guy on YouTube for the last, I want to say almost 10 years, who what he does is wears a tuxedo and eats fast food and reviews fast food. That's all he does. He just dresses up like he's going to the motherfucking ball and then eats like Taco Bell.
I mean, does he tell you like what it tastes like the entire way? Like,
he's being professional. He's like, there's a texture to it.
Wow.
The cheesiness is there.
That's for real.
You know who does that? But he's professional and shit, like you said. The guy with the platinum hair from the Food Network.
Yeah. Didn't he stop doing that though because he got like stomach issues?
Yeah. No, the one that stopped doing it was the fat one.
Wasn't it him though?
Guy Fieri was a big motherfucker.
No. The other one's bigger. Richmond.
Shit, I don't
bald
know.
Guy.
No, that's Zimmer. That's
okay. Zimmer.
No, Adam Richmond. He's the one that had the bypass surgery.
I knew one of them got really, really sick.
Yeah, he almost had a heart attack. He didn't have it, but he almost had it, so he went through the whole... And now he doesn't do Man vs. Food. So now what he does is... I think the show's called Hungry Nation or some shit. Okay. So now he gets a shitload of people... To do what he was doing. Okay. So I'm not fat, but I want to make them fatty. Let them have a heart attack. So
I bet the writers and producers like, fuck, we weren't expecting him to have diabetes at the end of this. Like,
yep. Exactly.
So thank you, folks. I can't feel my toes.
Exactly. How the fuck did we get into that?
I don't know, but I need a pee-pee. Okay.
Let's go ahead and wrap this up. Folks, if you want to find me, you can look at Hatfield Standup at gmail.com as well as Hatfield Standup on Facebook and Twitter. If you'd like to find the audio version of this podcast, you can search at shoutengine.com/bouncing brains. You can find us at Bouncing Brains Podcast on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah.
Yes. And the Instagram is...
And
I just wanted to know what that sounded like.
we can let you play with the mics afterwards.
Okay, thank you. Sorry.
On YouTube, you can find us under Bouncing Brains. We don't have that custom URL yet because y'all aren't you aren't holding your family hostage and making them subscribe. We ask that you might consider that.
And also you can find us on Stitcher
and Google Music,
Google Play Music.
You said Stitcher?
Stitcher is a podcast
right on.
player. Yeah. And I think I'm missing one. No.
No, we're still hunting Spotify and Apple.
And Apple. Okay. Yeah, but that's where you can find us.
Bridgette, thanks for coming in. That was a great little talk.
Thank you. Sorry, that was weird.
Hey, best of luck.
It's the first time for me, yo.
We love popping cherries. It's
okay. You definitely.
Again, you are on your own, sir. And to be honest, usually we have the comics in here and they just make dick jokes for 2 hours. So, I mean, you were actually talking about stuff.
Yeah, you actually educated us.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, that's cool. I thought I wasn't, so that makes me feel pretty
No. Hopefully this episode should be out next Wednesday. Your workshop, the first one's on Friday.
Yeah.
And the next one is the following week.
Yeah, the following one.
Okay, by all means, go out and follow her. Alter Stitch FX.
Alter Switch.
Alter Switch FX. Bridgette Trevino. Thank you, folks. It's been fun.
Y'all keep it tight.
Bye-bye. Whoop.